Hi all, welcome to the Get More Students webinar. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm Alex Asher, CEO of LearnCube. I have with me Herbert, who you already know, Herbert from herbertgerster.com. Corinne. Corinne, what's the website that they will find more about you?
CorinneAlgae.com.
It was Corinne Algae. I know. Rob, do you have
So
roblally.com?
Rob Lally Consulting. Somebody has snagged roblally.com and I'm furious about it.
Oh,
alas. But you're in for a treat, folks. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll get on with the talk today. So we are going to be talking, the main event is going to be about Rob, and we'll get to him in a second. We've just introduced ourselves, but Rob is all about teaching B2B consultants and service providers on how to get more leads. So we're really going to be talking about LinkedIn strategy as the main event today. So that's going to be a really great event that we're going to be waiting just for two more subsections. I'm going to start with the first subsection, just to give you guys a bit of a heads up on a couple of interesting events that are coming up next week. One is the Love Tutoring Festival. So if you're in tutoring, this is the place for you. It's an online event. There's a free, a largely free aspect. LearnCube is a sponsor, and it's going to be a really great event. If you're more into languages, there is a job summit with Bridge EDU starting. Both of these are week-long events, and you can get, I'm sure that there's a free ticket there as well. I'll be talking on the Monday. So some interesting things happening next week. But I'm really going to pass over to Herbert to start us off with our drum roll. Again, we've got our main event with Rob Lally talking on LinkedIn strategies. But Herbert, what have you got for us today?
Yes, so if you could let me share the screen, Alex. I am going to talk about using TikTok to come up with inspiration for ads. Now, I know a lot of schools and education businesses, when they start running paid ad campaigns, kind of one of the biggest pain points is coming up with creatives. Photos and videos, we're going to focus on videos today, that really grab people's attention. And there is nothing better than using what already works and what is popular at the moment and modeling off that. And everyone should know TikTok by now. It is the social media platform of the moment. And I just want to give you some ideas on how you can create videos that really stand out from the crowd and get people to take action and go to your website. So one way is to have conversations. That might be a conversation with yourself, maybe one of your teachers doing a dialogue, talking about the mistakes that a lot of students make in a funny way. And this is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be authentic. Everything on TikTok needs to be as authentic and unpolished as possible. So yeah, by having a role play as yourself, or having a conversation with yourself, or even with someone else. So that's one idea. Second idea is a student story or experience. I mean, we already know these types of videos, but why not get the student to record from leaving their house in their own country, flying to the destination, arriving at the school where they're living, the things that they're doing outside of the classroom. And you could package this as a day in the life of, or maybe the transformation they make when they attend one of your courses. The third one is specific situations. Here, the example on the right is, I think, 5 things you don't realize when you come to Italy. Again, culture shocks when moving to Italy. Again, these are funny, they're authentic, they utilize some of the trending features on the platform, like this green screen here, where you are in front of a background. And again, the goal is to get people's attention of content that they're already consuming. So that is another idea. The fourth one is using time lapses. Again, focusing on transformations, maybe the lessons from start to finish, or reaching goal. And again, it's great to use voiceovers here as well, that the TikTok platform enables, as well as having text overlay, which is very native to the platform as well. A video series could also be something very interesting, going through a certain topic or theme, broken up into short individual videos that come to a conclusion. And it is a great incentive for people to kind of follow you organically, but also watch out for those next videos. Yeah, that was very short. I just wanted to also show you how to look for trends and get inspiration from videos on TikTok. Just going onto the platform itself and typing in, for example, learn English, then you will see some of the top videos, by number of views. For example, this one has 34 million views, which is quite a lot. And again, you can get some inspiration and model off what is already working and grabbing people's attention. So that was a very short bit about TikTok. I hope that gave you some ideas and some inspiration for your own ads.
I thought that was brilliant. Thanks, Herbert. Again, it sort of shows you where you can look for inspiration, I think. And actually, Corinne, particularly with your role in a lot of content marketing.
Yes.
I imagine this is, people often asking you, like, how do you come up with ideas? What should I do?
Exactly. And everything Herbert said is absolutely true. I will take ideas from anywhere I can. Anything that's already working, it's great to maybe not copy it 100%, but really take inspiration from that. As Herbert said, model off it. I mean, because at the end of the day, why reinvent the wheel when we can just kind of, give it a, jazz it up a little bit and make it our own.
Sounds great.
Yeah. All right. So as I mentioned right at the start, I just wanted to go through a couple of Instagram updates that have happened in the last month, and basically just touch on why they're important to us in education, or why we need to know about them. Okay, let's get this moving. All right, so one of the first things, sorry, this is always in the way. One of the first things that I wanted to touch on was pinning posts. Now, this is something that we've been able to do on Facebook for all eternity, basically. And finally, Instagram has given us the ability to also do it over on Instagram. So what we can do now is pin up to 3 posts to the top of our grid. Okay, so when you open up your profile, you can have those top 3 posts on all your squares pinned. It's really nice and simple to access. Excuse me. You do that via the menu, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that shortly. But why do we need to do this? Like, what can we do? Why is this important? Well, it gives us the ability to pin our most important information. So say there is something that's really important that you need your current students or your current audience to know, you can pin that information to the top. It means that they're going to be able to find that a lot simpler, a lot quicker, and a lot more easily than if they had to scroll through or click through your content to find that information. Another thing that we should do, which is really great, is showcase our very best posts. So, people think, okay, maybe I'll pin something that didn't perform really well because I think it would, I think this will give it a boost. No, we stay away from that. We want to post the things that we want to pin the things that performed the best. So what that tells us, when we've got a post that's got lots of engagement, lots of comments, lots of shares, when we've got a post like that, that tells us it really resonates with our audience. So what we want to do is we want to pin that to the top, because new people that come onto our account, chances are they're quite similar to the people already in our audience, and it's going to resonate with them also. Okay, so then we catch their attention, we hook them in, we keep them forever. The other thing that we can do is, from time to time, I'm one of these people that likes a good 3-post spread. Now, what that is when you have those 3 separate posts that jigsaw together to make one long post. Now, the thing that is super duper annoying is that the second you post something new, your 3-post spread is pulled apart and looks terrible. So with the pin function, if you do a 3-post spread for something special that's happening in your school or in your business, you can pin all 3 of those to the top of your grid. And for at least the time being, until you unpin them, they will appear in their nice 3-piece jigsaw set. Okay, so as I mentioned, I was going to show you exactly how to pin your posts. So if you look at the left-hand side, I've circled those 3 buttons. That's your menu. The menu has also recently been redesigned. Now it's a pop-up menu, and you want to look down the list. Third from the bottom, it says pin to your profile. It's as simple as touching or tapping on that. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see what that looks like when it's pinned. There's a circle around a little pin symbol that you get to let you know that that's pinned. If you change your mind and decide you want to unpin something, it's very simple. Go back into the same menu, and where it says on your screen pin to your profile, that's actually going to say unpin. So it's as simple as just tapping on that. While we're in this new menu, I just wanted to really quickly tell you guys to make use of those 2 new buttons at the top, the share and the link button. Now, these are great buttons because it means that you can actually very, very simply share the link to specific posts. If you click on the link, what it does is copy the post URL, and then you can email it, you can put it on your website, you can put it anywhere you like, WhatsApp it, whatever you like as a link. Share is pretty similar, but what it will do is automatically give you those options of what's possible on your particular smartphone. So maybe it'll give you WhatsApp, Messenger, email, those kinds of things. But if you've got some great posts that are performing really well, why not share them out, push them out in other ways as well? Okay, so the next update is the 90-second Reels. Now, Reels, they've actually just recently gone to 60 seconds, but Instagram has decided that we need even more time and has extended the runtime to 90 seconds. Now, longer Reels are great for schools or businesses that really want to showcase their campuses, their activities, these kinds of things that may be, well, it might be kind of tight to fit that into the 60-second time slot. It's also great if you're a teacher or a tutor and you're explaining a grammar point or demonstrating pronunciation. Gives you just that little bit of extra time, especially if it's something that's a bit more difficult and needs a bit more detail. That said, you don't have to do 90-second Reels. You can still do much shorter Reels. You can still do 20 seconds. You can still do 30 seconds. You can still do 60 seconds. But when it's appropriate, we can push that out now to 90 seconds. Now, the next update, and I think the next 2 updates are actually for Reels. So we're going to have the ability, or we should have the ability already, to import audio for Reels. So what that means is that you can upload your own pre-recorded audio track. So previously, if you wanted your own track on your audio, you had to either record it live, so while you were making the reel, or you had to create your video off platform and then upload the whole video. So basically what they're doing is they've simplified this for us. We can now upload audio tracks to our Reels library. Now, if you're a school or even a tutor, for school in particular, you might be able to do things like upload a track of your choir singing, student-generated music, or any other audio from your school or business. Could be a lesson audio snippet, could be sports, cheering, yelling, whatever it is, we can now upload those. And what that means is we can actually showcase more aspects of our school, our business, or our lessons at once. So it's not just a visual thing anymore, it's also an audio thing as well. One quick thing to note is that they should be of high quality. If you upload a terrible quality audio track, then the algorithms are not going to be particularly happy with that. They're not going to suggest you. So good quality audio only. And the last one, again, as I said, it was also for Reels, we're getting interactive stickers. So basically, these are the same as the story stickers. So we're thinking about polls, sliders, question boxes, all those things that have been proven on stories to really ramp up, to really, increase engagement for us. So what we're getting is the opportunity to, Reels, the reach is generally speaking, or almost exclusively speaking, the reach is much broader than if we were to upload a post or if we were to upload a story. So what we're now doing is getting the ability to actually encourage that wider audience to engage with us. And the more a person engages with us, the more likely they are to come into our following, to buy into what we're saying, and to become a potential lead. So that's actually really exciting. We're going to be able to, pump up the engagement, so to speak. One thing though, this is a rollout. So depending on where you are in the world, you may or may not have this feature just yet. But if you don't have it, it's on its way. So that is all from me. And if you have any questions about any of that, you can ask them at the end, or you can contact me as usual via Instagram or email.
Thanks, Corinne.
Yeah, let me hand this back.
Why don't we're not seeing your glasses anymore. I just noticed you had some great glasses on there.
I do.
While Rob's getting set up, I just
It's too hot for glasses. It's too hot. Sorry, I'm making the wrong person. There you go, Rob. Now you're the host. Yeah, no, it's too hot for glasses. That's why I am not wearing them lately.
Oh, well. Anyway, you very much suited them.
Thank you. I do enjoy
like
a strong black
Herbert.
frame.
Exactly. You and Herbert.
Yeah.
You both.
Herbert and I clearly have impeccable taste.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So we are very much excited about Rob telling us all about LinkedIn, particularly the strategies employed to get more clients and leads. So Rob, I'll pass it over to you.
All right, everyone. I am very excited to be here today. My name is Rob Lally, and I help businesses basically with a lead generation strategy over LinkedIn. Sometimes I go in and I help their teams and teach their teams exactly how to do it. Other times I work one-on-one with solopreneurs. But I didn't always start in kind of that place. I was originally a career coach. And when I set my career coaching business up, I basically just sat back and waited for clients. I made the schoolboy error of sitting back and waiting for clients. And what happened was I didn't actually get any attention whatsoever. So it sent me on this bit of this sales and marketing journey where I, read tons of books, took tons of courses, got mentors, things like this. And I took some of like the main principles that I learned and I implemented them into LinkedIn. And after a while, my career coaching business was consistently booking calls. I thought to myself, you know what? I bet there's some business owners out there who are once in my shoes, who basically, maybe not getting anything from LinkedIn and want to learn how to, and maybe I could actually teach them that. So that's kind of what led me to where I am now. And before we kind of, go any further, I just want to, kind of take it to the audience a little bit. Is anybody on LinkedIn right now and they know they, aren't getting the most out of LinkedIn? They know they're kind of leaving some leads on the plate there. Yeah, we got Corinne there. Okay, awesome. Well, hopefully today I'm gonna, change that for you. That's like my aim today. And here's how the session structure will go. I'm gonna, first of all, teach you how to create a LinkedIn profile, how to, take a basic LinkedIn profile and turn it into a marketing machine, how to prospect over LinkedIn and build real meaningful conversations in the LinkedIn Messenger with ideal prospects, how to actually, create content that attracts clients to you through content marketing. And then if we've got a little bit of time at the end, I do believe like the questions you ask are probably where the most value is going to be. So I will do a few LinkedIn profile reviews live for those who are brave out there and don't mind me going through your profiles and telling you what I think could be improved, what's good already. And then we'll do a bit of a Q&A at the end. Does that sound good? Excellent. Okay, so everything that you're about to see is honestly my opinion, what's worked well for my clients, what's worked well for me as well. And I think it will work well for you. And this is the general LinkedIn strategy, like a 30,000-foot overview, bird's eye view of essentially how the LinkedIn strategy works. You first of all create a profile, LinkedIn profile that's compelling, that does the heavy lifting for you in terms of marketing what you are going to sell. Then you message ideal clients, they check your profile, they book a call. You create content which your ideal clients see, they check your profile, they book a call. And when you can combine all three together here, messaging ideal clients on a regular basis, creating compelling content which they love to read, and also creating a LinkedIn profile which sells, it's really adds sort of fuel to the fire. And this is the exact strategy I've used to go from this, just a tumbleweed, absolutely, nothing there, trying my hardest, can't get anything, to gradually booking more and more calls, to getting a calendar full of calls there. So let's jump straight into it. Let's go first of all with the main part, which is getting your LinkedIn profile, turning it into a marketing machine. And what I've found throughout my time on LinkedIn is those people, because I've changed my profile a ton of times now. I've tested what's different. I've also probably reviewed hundreds of LinkedIn profiles. And I found there's like a key trend, which attracts viewers, which, helps people decide you're the person to basically buy from. And that key trend is a bad LinkedIn profile that doesn't convert, has me. But a good LinkedIn profile is all about your clients, the challenges they're facing. It's all about their problems they have, the solution you can provide for them. And, one of the biggest things I've learned from marketing this entire time is that people are very interested in basically themselves. And if you were to kind of sit there with a friend and you tell your friend about like what type of day you had and how bad it was, after a while, like your friend's probably going to tune out. However, what I found is that if you give people personality tests where like everything is purely based on them, they essentially can't get enough of it. Like they'll just keep reading and reading and reading. So we want to take this psychology and actually put it into a LinkedIn profile. And there's a few questions that we've kind of boiled down what people think when they read your profile. If somebody clicks on your profile, they have these questions. Is this relevant to me? Will it actually help me? And is this person the real deal? This is a very important point right here, because in 2022, yeah, there's more people online, but also there's potentially more like sort of almost danger out there. People want to make sure that they're spending money in the right places as well. So I'm going to show you how to answer these questions in your LinkedIn profile. So here's my LinkedIn profile. And this is one variation which works very, very well. And the first thing, when a person clicks on your LinkedIn profile, the first thing they look at is your profile picture. Now, a lot of people make mistakes when they get profile pictures done. They think, you know what, I need to spend $300 on, a professional headshot. I need to spend all this money looking super, super professional. This one right here was with a camera phone. And let me tell you, I had a LinkedIn profile picture years ago, and I was wearing this like bright pink shirt. I had a little bit of a tan, but the exposure was turned up so bright, it looked like I took a bath in fake tan, basically. And I still booked hundreds and hundreds of calls through it, even though it was quite low quality. So that kind of tells you that, it's important to have a warm and friendly profile picture, because that's what they'll check first. As long as you're not like, drinking, doing loads of shots on your profile picture, and it maintains some sort of professionalism. It's good to actually, you don't put too much weight on it. Just take a photo, get a bit of sunlight on your face, move on from it. After a person's looked at your profile picture, they will look at your headline here. And this headline is essentially an area which can tell your ideal clients that you are relevant for them. If we think back to this first question here, is this person relevant to me? If you can answer and encapsulate in a single sentence what your service does and who it helps, in a way where people don't have to figure it out, very, very straightforward, you're honestly doing well, right? So mine says, I help B2B consultants and service providers get more leads through LinkedIn. It's not ambiguous at all. It tells them exactly what I do. And there's a reason for that, is because you heard about that rule, of like when you meet a new person, they have like 3 seconds before, you've got a first impression of each other. And it's very hard to change that first impression. The same thing is kind of true on LinkedIn as well. So you want to make sure within the first 3 seconds, you are relevant to them so they can then keep reading. If we look at the next question here, will it actually help me? Will the person's service actually help me? And we found that if you actually have a good profile picture and you have, your headline, the very next area people come to is your About Me section. And your About Me section, remember what we were saying before, has to be about you in terms of your clients. It can't be like, around you. A lot of mistakes people make in this area is they have a tendency to write it almost like a resume, like a CV. And they will write in third person, like Mark was the assistant director of blah, blah, blah. And the problem is with that approach, although it does tell people what you do, is people get bored when they're not reading about themselves and they skip. We want to keep people on our LinkedIn profile. So how we go about doing that is we talk mainly about like the types of problems our clients are experiencing. This is what we found like works kind of the best. So does any of this sound familiar? Getting one client is like a full-time job in itself. I wanted to work for myself to have freedom, but I'm getting burned out just trying to find new clients. I wear 1,000 hats. I've tried workshops, presentations, emailing prospects, and I can't get clients consistently. During this, I tell, after, I've captured their attention with talking about their problems, their challenges, I tell them a little bit about what I do. And then I tell them a little bit about like what the solution is, what the solution to their problem is. And after that, I include a few areas where people can read more information about me. So a lot of people, because there's so many LinkedIn profiles out there, a lot of people now need to basically know more about you before they'll make a decision on you, before they'll make a decision even to talk to you. So if you have got some links where you can send people to find more information about you, brilliant. So I've linked here a free training. Some people go through this, they click on my free training and they watch it. Other people, they might just want to book a call directly. I've got a whole YouTube channel as well, which deals with productivity, sales advice, lead generation advice, and they can get to know me a little bit through that. And it takes almost like the heavy lifting off of me. And as well, remember, one of the most important questions here, is this person the real deal? I've answered this by actually having a scroll to the bottom of my profile to recommendations to see what everyone else is saying about me. I've also included some, because my industry is people are particularly wary of my industry because they often get messaged all the time from people in my industry. I have to almost overly social proof myself. So I include testimonials, reviews here. And if we scroll down to the very bottom of my profile, we could see I've got a few very much like purposeful reviews and testimonials. The first one here is a character review. This, but we've got Ben saying here, Rob just actually wants to help people. Like he's not one of these who's just in it for money, which in my industry, like is, it's good to make sure people know this, right? We've got number 2 here from Michelle, who's like, Rob is the best at what he does. This is a very, very purposeful testimonial because my industry has a lot of people in it who do quite similar things to me. And then we've got another person here, Sean, who's talking about that, how the result he got was a really good ROI and was much more than like the amount he invested. So if we go back to this part here, is this relevant to me? Will it actually help me? Is this person the real deal? If we can answer all of those questions and ensure they're feeling good when they actually view your profile, that it's actually speaking to them, we're doing really, really well. Does that all make sense? Does that, does that help people there? Okay. Cool. Okay. So we've set up a great LinkedIn profile now, and obviously the recording of this, it's going to be sent out. So, you guys can go look at my profile if you want, take bits of inspiration from it, and also watch the recording to work out why we're doing certain things on it. The next area is prospecting and starting conversations on LinkedIn. And what that essentially means is essentially messaging people who are your ideal clients on a regular basis. Many people don't do this. They believe they don't need it. And they believe that it's ineffective as well. But I'm going to teach you how to do it in an effective way today. So why prospect on LinkedIn, first of all? It's a method of finding new clients quickly. It's literally asking the crowd if they are interested. My first ever online course I bought, it was a business course, and it was by this amazing entrepreneur called Ramit Sethi. And Ramit was saying in it, like so many people, when they're starting out in the business or where they're struggling to get clients, so many people, like they set up a website, they get business cards, they do flyers, they do all these sorts of things. And the reason why they do these sorts of things is because they want to see if people are interested in their service. And he was like, here's a better idea for you. Go out and just ask people if they're interested in your service. And I took this and I kind of built out a strategy around this, and it works very, very well. There's a certain way to do it, but when you can do it, it works very well. And it gives you an advantage over competitors who aren't prospecting. Most people are not prospecting. Most people are not allocating a daily bit of time to go out and try and meet new clients. And people who don't buy now, so even if you connect with someone, you send them a message, they don't reply. Even if they don't buy right now, they actually get to see your content, which you're going to be creating, which I'm going to tell you how to create. And they will almost warm up to you over time. So the amount of times I've had someone who I added 6 months ago who didn't respond to any of my messages suddenly reach out to me later because they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I do like what Rob's got to offer because I've seen his content a few times now. So it's very, very beneficial. And these are, you know, conversations I've had where I've booked call after call with prospecting. Trust me, it's very, very effective. And if you can master some of the things which I'm going to talk to you about now, it will change the game for you. It will help you build connections, you know, in a network. It'll help you build strong relationships with people. It'll help you get on sort of podcasts, things like this. It'll also help you find clients and get leads quickly. It's very powerful when you can actually take a conversation and direct it into a call. It's a very, very powerful thing. So how do you actually start a conversation? First of all, I just want to see where everyone's at. Does everyone in the chat know how to actually connect with people, how to connect with people over LinkedIn and add people? All good. Yeah. Okay. So the most popular question I get in my inbox is like, yeah, I know I should be prospecting. I know I should be messaging new people each day, Rob, but like, what do I say? How do I do it? And I think, and from what I've found, if you can mimic normal conversation, it's the best way to do it. So I put everything to the bar test. And what the bar test is picture you're in a bar and you want to start a conversation with the person who's right next to you at the bar. How do you go about starting that conversation? Do you do it? Do you start instantly asking about the challenges? Do you start like, you know, following up with them repeatedly like this? You don't. You just start a conversation with them. It doesn't even have to be related to like what you're doing in business. So what we're going to do next is we're going to see if there's following messages pass the bar test. Okay, so this is where you guys can get in the chat, get a little bit involved as well. Okay, so these are some actual cold messages I've received, and it's up to you guys whether you think it passes the bar test. We've got one here. Rob, I recently launched, the first message this is, Rob, I recently launched a lead lag report, a weekly analysis which explores intermarket trends, has updated, you know, it's got a lot of information there. What do you think? Alex is saying nope. Herbert's giving a shake of his head. Okay.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. So you're absolutely right. It doesn't pass the test. Because I think, why should I care? Like, what's in it for me? I don't know this person, feels a bit impersonal. Also, it's too long. And when it's too long, it ends up in the I'll read later, AKA never inbox. And you do not want to be, when you're messaging people, ending up in the this is too long, I'll read it never, because people just don't ever come back to you. It's just one of those things. So what about the second one? This is from a person who's in the same group. I've never met them before, but they're in the same business group as me. What do we think? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's better. It's better, certainly better. Any big goals that we are in 2021? So if we put it to the bar test, I arrive at a bar, right? Me and Alex are stood at the bar. I walk up to Alex. I've never met him before. And I'm like, hey, you know, I think it's always good to meet new people and network. Have you got any big goals? Have you got any, you know, things that you're doing right now that you want to accomplish? And what happens is Alex is like, why are you asking about my goals? He tells the bartender, I get escorted out, right? It's still not perfect. And there's actually a science. And also as well, I think this person just wants my money. If they're asking about my goals, I think this person just wants my money. And there's actually a bit of a science to creating good posts, good DMs that actually work. Now, here's one which is very, very successful. It's highly tailored. It's very successful. So I saw your post on how highly successful people are goal-oriented. That's an interesting perspective. Have you ever seen people that are intensely goal-oriented but don't end up successful? What do you think is different? Also saw you were a fan of Ray Dalio. Me too. This was actually, like I said, like a DM that was very, very successful. And I'll show you why it was very successful. It's highly tailored. I've gave a reason for contact. It's casual. It's almost over the shoulder to Brian. I've asked a question they can actually respond to. You know, it's not about the challenges. It's not even about business or anything. I've found a commonality with them as well, and it's short and to the point. I've not wrote essays and essays and essays. And the thing which is the most important here is if you can take some of these principles, not all of them, you know, you don't have to spend a long time creating ultra tailored messages, but if you can create a short and to the point message, ask a question that's, you know, that they can respond to, a conversation starter, and possibly give a reason for contact. So it doesn't just look like you're out there prospecting all day trying to get money. If you can do that, you'll be doing a lot better than most of these messages that appear typically in your inbox, you know, from people who are desperately sort of trying to generate leads. Okay. And here's a bit of a prospecting overview. You start a conversation, you can, you know, send a message to someone. And then after the conversation started, then you can explain what you do and ask them if they're interested, because the approach is right. Everything is in the approach. After that, you can invite them for a call if they are interested. And then after that, you know, maybe if they don't respond or anything, you can follow up with them a little bit later. And if you do it this way, we've found that like it's much better. You get a much better sort of result. It's a much better experience for the person on the other end as well. And if you can implement this in as like sort of a daily habit, you can generate leads using this. Are you guys feeling this? Is this good? You enjoying this? Yeah, great. Okay, cool. So we have created, we've sent messages, we've sent DMs to people now. We've started to build up our network. Some of them have checked our profile, but there's some people who haven't responded to our messages, right? What we need to do next to capture this part of people is to actually create LinkedIn content. And on LinkedIn, content has two jobs. It's to get attention to you or your brand, and it's to educate your audience on why you are the best solution to their problem. And we've got Gary Vaynerchuk here, who says more content, more personal brand. That's how you grow. And Gary Vaynerchuk is the CEO of VaynerMedia, and he does about 150 million a year in revenue. His content is all over the place. You can't really get away from it. So I like to learn from like real masters of the game. And if you could just get in front of more people, you could start capturing more attention. And on LinkedIn, there is a bit of a game. You know, there's a game with like the algorithm, what works well, what doesn't work well. And to win the game, you have to know the rules of the game. And luckily, I'm about to tell you the game and how the rules work on LinkedIn. So the LinkedIn content algorithm, as of right now, the 22nd of June, 2022, polls still get the most reach on the algorithm. So if you can create a poll, at least 1 to 2, something compelling, 1 to 2, maybe times a week, maybe twice every 2 weeks. If you could do that, you will get more views, and you will bring more views. And if they start viewing your poll right then, they will most likely see your next pieces of content as well, because they've probably interacted with it. Posts with pictures are the next kind of good thing for the algorithm that get the second most views. And if you post a post with a picture, make sure it's like a picture of yourself. The reason why is people respond to human faces. And if you can include pictures of yourself even if they're not reading your content, over time, they will start to recognize your face, and then they will start to associate your name with it. And then they'll be like, I've seen this person a lot. What have they got to say? And that's exactly what Gary Vaynerchuk does. And then we've got written posts as well. So written posts are one step down. If you're going to create a written post, I would just add a picture to your post, like, and just go with this one here. The next one, this is a tough one, and I've got to be honest with you. Video on LinkedIn. It builds the trust the fastest. However, LinkedIn have not really done favors in terms of getting like more eyeballs onto video. The reach is actually very low on it, but the people who do watch it, it builds the trust the fastest. So I would try my best, if I was in your shoes, to actually implement a little bit of video. It doesn't have to be long, 1 to 2 minutes a week of just talking into the camera, giving some really good value that you think your audience would actually find value. And it also tells them as well that you are the real deal. Remember that point on one of the first slides? And what we've found is the least views is links and articles. I wouldn't even bother posting links and articles, because honestly, the reach on them is just terrible. And the reason why is LinkedIn, for links in particular, LinkedIn want to keep people on their platform. They don't want you leading people off their platform. So if you need to put a link on your profile in a post, you do it in your profile here, you do it here as well. These are good places to do links, because it's not punishing you for having a link here. And you can even see here, me trying to advertise this webinar, LinkedIn were drastically punishing me. They let the first one get a few views, was still much, much lower than I usually get. After that, 2 days ago, 25 views, okay? 25 views. I have a network of 5,000 people, and it only showed it to 25 people, just because it was like, this Rob guy is trying to take people away from the site. So what type of content do we post? I hear you asking, you know, Rob, it's all good knowing what gets eyeballs, but what do we even say when we post content? I'm going to show you some examples here of what's actually worked and what's actually booked calls for me. So we can see here, I've made a poll. This is just a poll here. And all I've made the poll about is, why do you think some people add you to their connections, but don't actually reply or start a conversation with you? It's got 76 votes. It's got over 4,000 views. My connections are actually starting conversations with each other, because it's something people can share an opinion on. If you can get people engaging and sharing opinions. And we can see Linda here has then moved over to my inbox, because it's very natural, remember, for me to, we're already talking on my posts. We might as well start talking on my in like the inbox as well. It's natural conversation. And if we can do that, we can book calls that way. And you can see this is video content here. It's got 1,300 views, and it's directly value for my audience. This is how I booked 100 sales calls through LinkedIn in 3.5 months, and how you can too. It's directly just at them, because remember, people are quite interested in just like their own problems and trying to solve them. It got 938 minutes viewed for an 8-minute video. That's, you know, it's pretty good. And then under that, we could say, love your presentation. I would welcome your input and assistance with my business and retirement coaching. I am building a coaching program. Would love to hear your thoughts. And now these people are open to conversations. I can actually reach out to them, because they've commented. They've actually gave me permission to as well. Here's a written post right now. And there's nothing special about this written post. I'm saying happy Friday. I'm saying, drop me a message over LinkedIn if you are serious about making a change in your business. It's only got 3 likes. It hasn't got many views at all. And we've got another person who's called Rob. Believe it or not, this isn't actually me messaging myself, but this person is saying, I'm down for a call. I'm a salesman in the STEAM industry. Great. We booked a call with him. And as you can see, like, if you can implement all 3 of these together, I would recommend doing all 3, because that you can see they all kind of feed into each other. You are going to be doing, you know, pretty well. And maybe at the start, you know, I would never walk into a gym as like a 16-year-old and expect to like sort of bench press 400 pounds. These are skills that you get better at. You should be trying to sharpen the sword, in my opinion, in messaging ideal clients daily and getting more content out there, understanding your audience more so you can provide actual value to them. If you can keep doing this in sync, you will start to get leads. And that is the end of my short presentation for today. And shall we have a look and see if there's any people out there who potentially want to ask questions or post their LinkedIn profile? I could see that somebody's posted the LinkedIn profile here. Okay, excellent. I love it. First of all, okay, so have we got a few people? Oh, we've got a few in here. Have we got a few in here?
I think we've got the first one. Let's start with that one that you've got there.
Okay, cool. So first of all, love your profile picture. Very smiley, very friendly, very warm. There's nothing else you would require from this. What I would potentially do is change your headline so that you are specifically talking to who you are targeting. In a single sentence, change it from owner at STEM college to actually like what it is you do, who it is you help. See if you can encapsulate that in a plain English statement so it's easy to read. Okay, just having a little look at your about section here. I'm an educator who's several effective learning systems. Okay, I'll choose it. My team. I love the fact that you've mentioned that, you know, your team, you've helped hundreds of students in there who are falling behind in their schoolwork. I love the fact of that. I would potentially see if you can actually include that as a potential review or testimonial, maybe reach out to some of these students and see if you can, you know, get like character statements or something like that and input them at the top exactly like as I did. And then what I would do is I'd talk about the problems your potential, you know, students are actually facing. What are they facing? What's their challenges? What is the solution you are providing to their problem? And what does their future look like? Okay. And any, you know, any type of way, what I always recommend to people is actually to go back to previous clients, previous customers, previous students, and find a way to see if people will actually, you know, come over, just send them a link, come over to your profile and say, would you mind leaving, did you have a good experience? Would you mind leaving a review? I'm trying to build reviews. If you're just open and honest with people like that, it's very, very, like easy to actually get reviews, and you can include some recommendations here as well. Also, if you've got any further information you can give people, include a little link at the bottom, maybe a call to action to actually book a call with you. Hope that helps. Awesome.
That was excellent, Rob. I'm
Fantastic
curious
feedback.
with that call to action, Rob, even though you've got it, I mean, when we looked at your profile, it was quite low in your about page. Is that the main way you get calls from, you know, through your LinkedIn profile? Is it in that about place, or do you put that, do you find that you get them elsewhere in your LinkedIn profile?
So generally people need a bit of a shove over the cliff to actually jump on a call with you, but you can tell when it works very well is when you get people actually on a call with you and they say, you know what, I was reading through your because I always ask at the start, you know, what made you want to jump on a call with me? And when they say things like, I was reading through your profile and it really sounded similar to kind of what I was experiencing right now, or like, I was reading through your profile and it sounded like you were the person to help. These are all like key indicators that basically people are reading your profile and it's resonating with them, which is really what I'm looking for. Great. That makes sense? Yeah,
I'm just thinking of the actual call to action, the actual link. Do you know if you're getting people from that link that you put in your about page, or is that somewhere?
It's rare, and if you look at like the like prospect journey, and I ask them about it, usually they've went and looked at my training, then they've saw some more of my LinkedIn content, then they've went over to YouTube. It's actually quite hard to track the client journey.
No, that makes sense then.
But yeah, generally it's a bit of a shove over the edge is what they need, either in Messenger or you know, through some like content I've put out which has got calls to action in it. Cool. All right. Have we got any other questions here?
I don't think we do, but I've got a couple of further questions that I'm sure others are probably thinking about. Is that bar test? I think a lot of people are embarrassed at bars as well as they're online. In terms of starting that initial conversation. Like as an example, if I've never tried it, maybe I should try it, but just writing like, hey Rob, how are you going? Like LinkedIn does feel like a place where people are busy as well. And so I guess I find that, but I'm sure other people do as well, is like, how do you start an authentic conversation when you don't even know if you've got eye contact yet, right?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And a lot of this as well is, I'm glad you brought this up, because a lot of it as well is really knowing your target market and your niche as well. So I went through, there's a good example. I went through a stage of, I was reaching out to life coaches, seeing if like I could help them with their lead generation process. And what I actually found was, if I asked like, what you're currently struggling with or what your current challenges are, like they would not resonate. They would actually stop replying to me like 10 out of 10 times. And the reason why is, once you know that niche, it turns out that they always like to look to the positive future rather than to the painful past. And so as soon as I changed the language around, and I was actually like, oh, you know what? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do right now? I can see you're on LinkedIn. I can see you posting a bit of content. Like, what are you trying to do? Much, much better at actually replying. So if you've got like busy CEOs out there, because I deal with them as well, you probably, if they're active and they're posting content, just mention, you see that Brian post DM before? He's a very, very busy CEO. And as long as it's like related to their content, and you can kind of fall into that category of like, he's not desperately trying to sell to me at the moment, or maybe, just reach out to them, send a video message. One of the clients I have at the moment, a very busy CEO again, I actually sent a video message to him when he connected with me. And I was just like, hey, I read your profile. Looks like you're doing some great things over there. Let me know if I can help or support in anything anyway. It put him in the content bucket. 1 month later, he saw the content, reached out for help, and became a client. So it's really about knowing like your customers and knowing how to actually talk to them. What do they like? Are they really too busy? Do you actually need to be a little bit more direct with them, or are they going to be okay if you just kind of approach them indirectly as well?
Herbert, do you have any last questions? Like anything that you've noticed about your education clients and how they've sort of the issues that they may have struggled with?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the clients that we work with are more B2C clients, but we have worked with B2B before, and it's the same thing about reaching out to those decision makers. If they're selling B2B courses, you're reaching out to the human resources manager or the learning and development manager. And the fantastic thing is with LinkedIn is you can find those specific roles at companies. So it makes it so much easier to find the contact person you need. But again, I think a lot of them have that apprehension when it comes to actually messaging and how to reach out to them, how to start a conversation without just saying, hey, this is our school. If you're interested, buy our products, you know what I mean? So I think the strategies and the ideas that Rob gave today are great, especially when it comes to starting and nurturing conversations.
I'll just add, for anyone interested out there in learning how to communicate well with people, there's an amazing book, and it's actually on my bookshelf here. It's called Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi, and it's an amazing networking book. It's the book I wish I would have written, except way better than I could ever write. And it teaches you loads of ways to approach people. If you can read this and kind of implement it into your business, some of the takeaways from it, you'll be doing well.
Amazing. I'm going to finish just on, I know that a lot of the people listening in, that particularly in the recording, will be corporate language businesses. And I imagine their number one issue is starting the conversation. Do you have any kind of examples of how you, like, maybe putting yourself in their shoes, how might you start that conversation with a potential HR manager? You don't know them very well. They've connected with you. They don't really have anything on their LinkedIn to use, because if they're an HR manager, they may not like to post. There's no ammunition. There is just simply, their name, that they're on LinkedIn because that they're networking, but they're not posting anything. And so you don't really know anything about them personally.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different ways to do it, honestly. And it's always tough if it's like a very dry person where you can't actually, get anything from them. And a simple way to do it is to take the same principles and actually go direct as well and say, hey, I'm actually working with A, B, and C client. I've reached out because I came across you on LinkedIn. Is this actually something that's relevant for you? Or another way to do it, as long as it's short, polite, and not overstepping the boundaries. Another way to do it is actually hold research calls with people. And this is something very, very good for people who are maybe earlier on in the entrepreneur journey, but can also work if you're later on as well. It's a bit of a ninja trick. So what you say is, you say something like, I'm actually, really trying to build out a great XYZ for this niche right now. I know you're in the niche. I can see that you've got years of experience. Would you mind if I can ask you a few questions about this niche, just so I can build up the product, just because you're obviously an expert in this area? And that actually works way better most times than nothing. So you get on the call with them, you have a research call with them, you ask a few questions for them, and you say to them at the end, hey, look, if I do end up building out this program, can I follow up with you in like a month or something? And because it's casual, phrases the person as an expert and is polite as well. People love to be phrased as an expert. It actually works, and you kind of build up your pipeline for next month as well.
I think that could really work in the language sector. And I think even with tutors looking at schools, like getting schools who are, as part of like, hey, I'm really thinking of how we approach things better. Can I borrow you? That was a great place to finish, I think, Rob. Has anyone got any last questions? Otherwise, I might wrap this up for a fantastic Get More Students webinar. Let's do it then. So on our side, Rob, where are they going to find you? I'd love for people to learn more about your business.
So you could just type Rob Lally into LinkedIn. It'll come up. YouTube.com, Rob Lally as well. Or if you want to, send me a few, like an email or something like this, it's rob@roblallyconsulting.com.
Fantastic.
Great.
Excellent. And if you want to find more about Herbert, you can find Herbert at herbertgoetze.com. Have I got that right there, Herbert?
Yes.
Corinne, if you want to learn more from Corinne, you can find her favorite place is Instagram. So check her out. If you'd like to learn more about LearnCube, how we help tutoring and language business, you can go to learncube.com. And otherwise, don't be a stranger as well. If you are in this business and are looking to build out your skills in marketing, also join the Get More Students community at getmorestudents.org. But I'll leave us there. Thank you so much for joining us, and all of you back at home, have a good one. And again, make sure you check out Rob Lally. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've learned a ton about LinkedIn. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Bye.
Bye.